Did you know that most of us doubt ourselves about 5 times a day? In fact, a shocking 85% of us deal with regular insecurities and low self-esteem. This means that real confidence is hard to come by. But why do so many people feel this way? In this video, we'll find out. Look into the different trends in our daily lives and thoughts that affect our confidence. The things we say and do on a regular basis can have a big effect on our self-esteem. One negative habit can lead to harmful thoughts that make us act in ways that hurt our growth and make us feel trapped. When our confidence drops, we tend to hold on to the very ideas that make us feel bad about ourselves. If you want to feel more confidence, you need to break free from these negative cycles. How? By changing the way you think and how you interact with the world. Before we start, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and that notifications are turned on. Also, please hit the like button to help us, and don't be shy about leaving your thoughts in the comments. If you watch this video all the way to the end, it means you're determined to become more confident and strong. Allow us to begin. Number 1. The burden mindset. Have you ever met someone who says sorry for everything even when it's clear they haven't done anything wrong? This happens a lot in real life, and it makes people feel guilty just for existing. Stoics like Epicus and Marcus Aurelius taught that how we react to outside events shapes our minds. This burden mentality makes us feel like we're always a bother to other people, which is a skewed view of reality. Not every problem or accident in life is our fault, and understanding this can free confident people. Stoics know how important it is to tell the difference between when they should apologize and when they shouldn't. They apologize sincerely when they need to, but they also stand up for their right, not to be blamed for things that are out of their control. For example, if you're late to a meeting because of a traffic jam, it's polite to acknowledge the trouble this caused others. But it's not polite to feel guilty about the delay as if the traffic jam were your fault. If you stop blaming other people for everything that happens, you'll be surprised at how much better you feel about your own worth. This change will not only make you happier, but it will also help you live in harmony with what you can and cannot control. Remember that the goal isn't to become indifferent or unapologetic, but to develop a balanced view of yourself and your interactions with the world. This will help you navigate life with a clearer mind. This habit doesn't just keep us up at night. It also hurts our self-esteem, our confidence, and our attention from what's important in the present. The truth is that we can't change the past no matter how much we want to. In these cases, history is set in stone. So let's talk about the rules of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us how important it is. We should focus on what we can change and let go of what we can't. The past, with all its mistakes and regrets, is something we can't change, no matter how badly we might want to. Instead of getting stuck in a loop of regret, we should try to be as kind and compassionate to ourselves as we would be to a good friend. If your friend made a mistake, like forgetting an important deadline or anniversary, you wouldn't scold them endlessly, would you? Having a compassionate view of ourselves can change how we deal with past regrets. It also helps us learn and grow from our mistakes. For example, instead of beating yourself up over a failed project, think about what it taught you about planning and executing, and use that information to succeed in your next attempt. Adopting a stoic attitude not only boosts our confidence, but also gives us the tools to succeed in future challenges. By focusing on what we can learn and how we can improve, we turn past mistakes into stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. So the next time you feel stuck in the past, remember to show yourself compassion, learn from your mistakes, and focus on what you can do now. This approach doesn't just help you get over your regrets. It builds a strong foundation for the future. We shouldn't let our past define us. Instead, we should learn from it and keep moving forward with confidence and strength. Remember that every day is a new chance to write a better story for ourselves. Number 3, letting fear control you. Fear keeps us from going after what we really want in life. It's like there's an invisible force that keeps us in our comfort zones, stopping us from taking risks and seizing opportunities. But guess what? You don't have to believe that. Let's say you want to start your own business and have lots of great ideas and plans, but every time you think about taking that first step, you're afraid. You start to worry about what will happen if you fail or things don't go as planned. so you stay in your safe job and never really go after what you want. But here's the thing about fear. It's just a feeling, not a real obstacle that you can't get past. Stoicism shows us that we can choose how to react to fear. Instead of letting it stop you, use it as a way to get stronger. Let's look at the Stoic philosopher Seneca. Throughout his life, he faced many problems and difficulties, but he didn't let fear control him. Instead, he saw them as chances to learn and grow. He said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This reminds us that our fears are often blown out of proportion in our minds. So what can you do to start getting over your fears? Do the things that scare you first if you want to. If you're afraid of public speaking, start by talking to smaller groups and work your way up. If you're afraid of failing at a new business, take small, calculated steps to lower the risk, but keep going. The important thing is not to let fear stop you, but to recognize it and then face it head on. You leave your comfort zone, and each time you do, you'll feel stronger and more confident. Over time, you'll see that things that seemed impossible before will now seem possible. The more you face your fears, the stronger you'll become, and you'll realize that fear is only a temporary obstacle that you can overcome. Don't let fear stop you from going after your dreams. Embrace the pain, push past your limits, and watch yourself get stronger with each challenge you face. That's what Stoicism is all about for misplaced approval. It's easy to see why a lot of us are caught up in seeking external validation. Every day we are flooded with notifications of likes and comments on our various real and virtual social networks. This constant stream of feedback can serve as a temporary distraction from our deeper problems and issues. However, this quick hit of approval, while it may make us feel better in the short term, rarely leads to real self-esteem or lasting confidence. In fact, relying too heavily on external validation can make us feel worse over time. True confidence comes from within, not from how many likes or comments you get on a post or outfit. Stoicism teaches us that we should find approval from within instead of constantly seeking approval from others. Focus on building your confidence by taking on new tasks, getting over fears and reaching personal targets. Imagine getting over your fear of public speaking or finishing a tough job at work. Those are the times when you'll really feel confident. Think about it this way. When you're learning to ride a bike, the cheers and encouragement at the beginning are helpful, but the real confidence comes from mastering the skills, avoiding obstacles, and knowing you can handle the bike on any surface. Every time you face your fears, solve a problem, or reach a personal goal, you're building your internal validation. This is the kind of confidence that doesn't change when you don't get applause, so the next time you feel good about a flow, try to get things done for yourself, and soon you'll realize that the only acceptance you need is your own. Let's work on building our inner strength and self-validation. It's a journey that's worth taking, and it leads to real, long-lasting self-confidence. 5. Let's start down this road together, encouraging each other to look inside and get stronger one step at a time. The effect of the spotlight. Have you ever felt like everyone is looking at every mistake you make? This feeling that everyone is watching your every move and flaw is called the spotlight effect. It's like we think we're on a show where every mistake is shown to everyone. For example, let's say you spill coffee on your shirt on your way to work. What's your first thought? Don't worry, everyone will see this and think I'm a mess. But here's the truth. The truth is that most people are too busy worrying about their own problems to pay attention to yours. For example, if you're at a party and stumble over your words while talking to someone, you might feel like everyone is silently judging your speech mistake. But the truth is that most people are too busy with their own conversations and thoughts to give your stumble any attention. Spotlight. Why not turn down the lights a bit and remind yourself that you're not the center of the world? Accept that most people are too busy with their own lives to pay attention to yours. Free yourself from the pressure of being judged all the time, and you'll find freedom. Just think about how you'll feel if you live your life like you're always on show. Insecurity and self-doubt can hold you back, but if you live as if no one is looking, you'll find that you're suddenly free. You can say what you want, take risks, and love your quirks without worrying about being judged. We should learn from the Stoics and not focus on ourselves too much. Instead, we should enjoy the freedom of living our true selves, knowing that the person looking back at us in the mirror is often our biggest critic. Let's talk about the idea of habit friction and how knowing it can help us follow Stoic principles, especially when it comes to becoming more resilient and having more self-confidence. Stoicism teaches us the value of simplicity and discipline in achieving our goals. For example, let's say you want to get in shape, which is a common goal that can also boost your confidence and physical strength. To stay motivated, you sign up for a top-notch gym that has all the facilities you could ever want, but it's on the other side of town. You promise to go every day, even though the drive is long and boring. It's frustrating when, despite your best efforts, your goal seems farther away than ever. This situation shows the problem of friction, which according to the Stoics is anything that makes it harder to practice virtues like discipline and perseverance, which are important for personal growth. It's those little things that, while they might not seem important at first, add up to make it hard to keep your promises to yourself. If your goal is to get in shape, find a gym close to home or make a workout space in your living room. The easier it is to start working out, the more likely you are to keep it up. If you want to read more, put a book on your nightstand instead of a shelf, and if you're trying to eat healthier, make meals ahead of time to avoid the easy temptation of fast food. By reducing friction, you become more in line with Stoic virtues, by making it easier to control what you can and accept what you can't. This is the path to becoming a strong and confident person, just as you've always said. Remember that setting the right conditions for success is the first step to any big goal. Let's make it easier to deal with problems by developing the inner strength and perseverance that Stoicism teaches us. Number 7. Putting things off. Stoic theory says that vortex. We don't have to be lazy to put things off. Putting things off is a sign that our actions aren't in line with our true values and goals. In Stoicism, the focus is on living a virtuous life, which includes wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. But putting things off can sometimes feel like a betrayal of these ideals. It shows a lack of discipline and a refusal to face our responsibilities bravely. Over time, this cycle of avoiding and neglecting our duties takes a toll. When you set a goal and then put it off, each delay is not only a missed chance but also a small blow to your self-respect. For example, you might plan to start a new exercise routine every morning, but every day you say, "I'll start tomorrow." This isn't just about missing a workout. It's about telling yourself over and over that you can't keep your promises, which hurts your confidence and feeds into a vicious cycle. If you put things off, you'll feel powerless and unsafe, and you won't believe you can reach your goals. Now think about how a Stoic would answer this. Stoics teach that we should focus on what we can control, like our actions, emotions, and will. We have the power to stop putting things off. Here's how we can start. First, make goals that are clear and doable. Divide your work into smaller, more doable jobs. This makes the process less scary and the steps easier to understand. Next, make a routine. Stoics like routines. Setting up a simple daily plan with set times for your tasks will make it easier to get started, because you won't have to think about what to do next. Lastly, take a few minutes every night to think about what you did and what you didn't do. This isn't to be mean to yourself, but to quietly evaluate and make plans for the next day. Fourth, picture what will happen. Think about the good things that will happen if you act, and the bad things that will happen if you keep putting things off. Visualization can be a powerful way to get motivated. At last, remember that being hard on yourself only makes you put things off. Show yourself kindness, reminding yourself that slip-ups are normal and that what matters is getting back on track. By dealing with procrastination through these Stoic practices, you not only break the cycle but also boost your confidence and self-esteem. It's about making sure your actions are in line with your values and taking charge when you can, which builds your sense of competence and self-respect. Let's give ourselves a task to stop putting things off. Vortex adopting the Stoic way of life with purpose and virtue. Remember that every moment is a new chance to become the person you want to be. Number 8. Unfinished business. This is a familiar story. As we start new projects, like working out for the first time, writing a book, or even remodeling our home, many of us do so with high hopes and a lot of energy. But along the way, most of the time we run into problems. It could be a technical problem we didn't see coming, or life could just get in the way. As the list of demands grows, doubts start to creep in. We start to worry that maybe we can't pull it off after all, and the fear of failing becomes paralyzing. Unfortunately for many, this is where the journey ends. The projects and dreams we were so excited about stay unfinished, and with each unfinished project comes a little pang of regret. We're left thinking about what could have been. This is a tough pill to swallow, but some ancient wisdom can make all the difference. Stoicism is an old theory that can teach us a lot about how to be strong and keep going even when things get hard. Roman Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca weren't afraid of problems, but they saw them as chances to grow. They believed that we should focus on the things we can control, like our actions and attitudes. For example, someone training for a marathon might feel like giving up a lot of times, like when the weather gets bad, they get hurt, or they just lose motivation. Stoicism would teach us to see setbacks as part of the process, not as reasons to give up. It would also teach us to see every small step we take in our training as a win in and of itself, as part of the bigger fights we are fighting to become the best versions of ourselves. For example, someone training for a marathon has to put in a lot of work, and there are times when they might want to give up. The weather could get bad, they could get hurt, or their drive could just fade away. Stoicism would teach us to see setbacks as part of the process, not as reasons to give up. It would also help us see each small step we take every day in our training as a win in its own right, as part of the bigger fight for personal excellence. No matter how small, finishing what we start gives us a lot of happiness. It's not just about the big accomplishments, but also the little ones. Whether it's the bookshelf you finally put together, the garden you took care of all summer, or the blog you kept writing for a year, every project we finish boosts our confidence and gives us the drive to keep going and try new things, even if we make mistakes along the way. When we finish a project, we can say, "I did that. I can take on the next challenge." It shows us that we can see things through and that we can stick it out. Stoic philosophers once said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." Let's take each challenge one step at a time and remember that. Number 9, assuming the worst. Have you ever been getting ready for a social event when you really thought you weren't going to be liked? It happens more often than you might think. What's going on? A lot of us end up in these positions. We put up walls and hide who we really are behind a front to protect ourselves from possible negative opinions when we're expecting to be rejected. We feel exposed and on edge, like we're walking into a battlefield instead of a friendly conversation. Putting on protection is like that. Now think about this from a Stoic point of view. Stoicism teaches us to be strong and to focus on what we can change. One thing we can definitely control is how we react to new people. What if, instead of expecting the worst, we change our attitude to expect the best? Stoics say that we should not be defensive when making first impressions, but instead should be honest and open. For example, Marcus Aurelius was a famous Stoic who wrote that problems should be seen as chances to practice virtues like patience and kindness. So, when you meet someone new, instead of expecting them to dislike you, why not expect them to appreciate your sincerity? It doesn't mean they'll always like you, but it changes how you talk to them. Think of someone whose social grace is often praised. It could be a teacher, a civic leader, or even a friend who is known for their calm personality. People like this don't go into conversations with their guards up. Instead, they assume the interactions will be positive and are open and honest. As a result, they make meaningful connections and are liked and respected because they are real, not because they are fake. By changing our mindset to expect positive interactions and being honest, we build real confidence instead of the fragile kind that comes from hiding behind emotional walls. Some of that quick knowledge: don't expect the worst, but the best. If you take off your mask and show who you really are, you might be surprised at how much more attached and sure of yourself you feel. When we come across something difficult or new, our instincts often push us toward the safest road. We choose the path that looks the easiest, avoiding any challenges or bumps. It's natural to want to avoid pain and failure. But here's the thing. Stoicism talks a lot about how when we don't take risks, we miss out on the chance to really believe in ourselves. Stoicism teaches us the value of pushing ourselves to our limits and dealing with problems. Directly think about it. How can you trust your own strength if you've never seen what it is you can do? Let's look at some everyday examples. It could be choosing to speak up in a meeting when you normally don't, or it could be taking on a difficult project that seems out of your league. It could even be as simple as trying a new sport or hobby that scares you at first. In all of these cases, you are taking a risk and pushing yourself. Going beyond what's easy is a good way to prove our skills, not just to others, but also to ourselves. It helps us realize we can handle more than we thought we could, and even if we fail, we learn from it. This kind of growth is what Stoicism is all about, seeing problems as chances to get stronger and more resilient. So the next time you have to choose between the easy path and the one that scares you a little, remember that getting out of your comfort zone is where real growth happens. It's about facing your fears and becoming a stronger, more confident person. Number 11 premonitions that come true. Sometime we become our own sabur and tell ourselves stories that things will go badly, that problems are too big, or that our efforts will always fail. This way of thinking is not only harmful, it also changes the way things are. For example, a student who thinks they are bad at math might not study or ask for help, which could lead to bad grades that make them even more sure they are not good at math. There is a cycle that starts with a thought and ends with that belief coming true. Stoics taught us that our thoughts and beliefs can change what we do and how things turn out. If we think about failing, we may not be aware that we're doing things that will make that failure happen, but they are. On the other hand, if we believe in our abilities and think about good outcomes, we're more likely to take actions that will lead to success. It's not naive optimism, it's a strategic choice of perspective. It's about planning for the worst but acting as if success is possible and within reach. There's also evidence to back this up. Research has shown that our expectations can have a big effect on how well we do. For example, athletes who picture themselves winning a game often do better, and students who think they can get better by working hard and studying often do better. Confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a driving force. When we believe in ourselves, we're more likely to take brave actions to deal with problems and encourage others to do the same. Focusing on self-improvement and resilience, like the Stoics do, can be very helpful because they teach us to build an inner fortress that can withstand the chaos of outside circumstances. This fortification begins with believing in oneself. So how can we use this in our daily lives? If you approach the challenges that the narrative approach presents with the belief that you can overcome them, you'll be better prepared to handle them stoically, with grace and resilience. Remember that the path to a stoic mindset is about understanding the power of our thoughts and learning to direct them in a way that helps us rather than hurts us. Believe in yourself, and you'll often find that you can achieve more than you think. A person who is confident is proud of their achievements and happy with the choices they have made in life. They are firm in what they say and do, afraid to show how they really feel. Their strong values guide every choice they make. These core principles not only help people become more self-aware, but they also give them the tools to live fuller, more authentic lives. Someone who is truly confident is willing to be themselves in public, but this kind of honesty and openness is rare. To find that confidence, you must first recognize the mental and behavioral blocks that keep you from being sure of yourself. Often, what you are doing or avoiding is what is hurting your confidence. By facing and getting past these negative blocks, you can boost your confidence. You can share your thoughts in the comments section below, and we'll talk more about this together. Thanks for watching today, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and look at the other videos linked at the end. I wish you the courage to be your true self.